Good morning and hello from our side. Welcome to our webinar, Advanced Manufacturing in Pharma with Zenon. I would like to welcome you in front of our speakers today. My name is Dalibor Bobic and I'm CEO and Zenon Sales Engineer in Exoreti office in Belgrade. With us is Dejan Sršen, Zenon Sales Engineer from our office in Slovenia, and our guest speaker today, Sasha Ajdarić from our technic company from Serbia. Today's agenda is like this. So we will speak briefly about our company, so Exoreti and Copadata. We will continue with continuous manufacturing, really nice topic for modular type production, a little bit about general references we have in pharmaceutical industry. And of course, our guest speaker, Sasha, will speak about. At the end, we will have a Q&A session, and I would like to invite you to put all questions in Q&A option during the webinar, and you can also type in chat during the webinar. Of course, this webinar is recorded, and you will get the recording after the webinar. And at the end of the webinar, when you leave the webinar, you will get a kind of form to put your questions, additional questions, and how you like this webinar. Okay, let's start with company profiles from Exoreti and Copadata. Dejan, please continue.
Thank you, Dalibor. So hello from my side. I'm sales engineer for Zenon here at Exoreti, and I'll explain first of all our company profile, and then I'll explain and present to you continuous manufacturing compared to batch manufacturing. So let's start. Okay, so we are a distribution company for software and hardware. Here on the screen, you see all the products that we offer. Our main product, of course, is from Zenon from Copadata. That is the subject of today's webinar. We offer consultancy, technical support, trainings, and sales of licenses for this software. Areas that we are present in are energy infrastructure, automotive, food and beverage, pharmaceutical, and so on. We have 3 offices in Ljubljana, Zagreb, and Belgrade. So we are present in entire market or former Yugoslavia and Albania. We have 15 employees, many partners, and we are, as I said, present in Southeastern Europe market. Manufacturer of Zenon software is Copadata. So they are a company of around 300 employees. They are still a private company, and therefore they are very flexible in terms of integration of other other manufacturers to this system. There are more than 175 installed Zenon systems around the world. And we have many successful stories of integration that you can read on our webpage. So the main characteristics of this software platform is scalability. It means that we can, with this very extensive and capable software, we can easily scale things from a little project to a big project. So we can start with a small line integration of a small machine to a bigger line, bigger SCADA system. So we just scale things up step by step. So we can start from a small project to a big project. Robustness, of course, everything is made with modern standards of cybersecurity. Flexibility, we can easily integrate additional components this system. This will be explained more in detail by Dalibor later. Openness, validation, easy ergonomics for design process, and so on. So I will try to explain now benefits and drawbacks and characteristics for continuous manufacturing. Basically, what is through help of a software, from a view of a software, how can we help integrate these advanced manufacturing technologies that are getting their way into pharmaceutical industry more and more, and how can we help? So if we look at traditional batch manufacturing, the main characteristics are multiple steps. So we are talking about process with multiple discrete steps. In order to test the materials, we have to stop the production after each manufacturing stage. Then product is quality tested, and then process moves to the next step. We usually have here very large equipment. And what are the risks when we have to stop every time after each manufacturing stage is, if we have to store the material to transfer it to another facility, there's a risk of degradation. So we want to avoid these long hold-up times as much as possible. And the solution is, of course, then to go to more advanced type of manufacturing. So again, the drawbacks are longer to create product, larger footprint on the factory floor, smaller portion of each batch thoroughly checked, delay time from batch end to batch release is longer, and quantity of drug produced is defined by the size of the equipment. So when we are talking about tracing and traceability, tracking and tracing, we have longer times and bigger amounts to sample compared to continuous manufacturing. Another drawback is scaling of the equipment. It therefore requires more physical space and a bigger footprint on the factory floor. So scaling up the production is much harder in traditional batch manufacturing compared to continuous manufacturing. Characteristics of continuous manufacturing are no hold-up times or breaks in production line, increased agility and flexibility, and greater control. So here, pharmaceuticals that are made are moved non-stop within the same facility, right? So this is the goal to decrease this time to market, to scale things more easily. So the benefits are, as I said, consistent quality, reduced human error because all the processes are automated. So testing is automated in continuous manufacturing. We are eliminating batch release delays, simpler scale-up production. So this will be also more clear to you when Dalibor explains MTP standard. So it's much faster and easier scaling up of production. We are reducing waste, lowering amount of space required, better proactive maintenance because we have adaptive analytics and preemptive maintenance. Quantity can be set by timestamp, amount of drug, or amount of raw material. So we are not limited or tied to equipment, but we can choose other parameters when we are setting the quantity. Drawbacks are, of course, a bit higher investment cost and lack of qualified personnel, but definitely in the long term, this investment is justified because the return on investment is much higher on the long term. So how can software help in continuous manufacturing? With Zenon, with our software, you can smoothly integrate different subsystems like different process analytical technology components, multivariate data analysis, different control system, machines and devices, simple exchange of data with other IT systems. We have here options of standard communication ways like OPC way. We have a process gateway. Zenon has an API, so we can make available all the variables, all the data points to other systems like MES, like ERP very easily, either, like I said, through different standard protocols or through an API. We have then here on the right a screenshot of a process control station. So this is for one machine, and in here we can integrate. We already have integrated services like historian, recipe management, batch control. So all the necessary tools and functionalities for a modern control workstation. In addition, we have multiple ways of enabling reporting for analysis. So we have a basic way and a more advanced, let's say, a complicated, more complete way of reporting with all integrated templates with formulas for calculating things like overall equipment effectiveness, energy management, and so on. So we can enable all the operators, project managers, their custom reports that are getting on a subscription basis anytime they need. So this is all from my side. I will turn now to Dalibor, who will continue with basically this same subject of advanced manufacturing with a specific new trend of MTP. So I will turn my word now back to Dalibor for the next chapter. Thank you from my side, and I'm ready to answer all the questions at the end. Here.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Really nice part of our webinar. So let's continue with MTP, modular production, as Dan already announced. So speaking about copy data, the development with modular concept is now 25 years. It started 25 years ago. So logical consequence is also addition of MTP standard. For you who are familiar with MTP, the most important is that Zenon is MTP ready. So you can use MTP files in Zenon and you can create MTP files with Zenon and check everything in connection with machine. So especially for pharmaceutical and chemical industry, POL, process orchestration layer, ensure the fast time to market according to all standards that are used, especially in pharmaceutical industry like GMP and FDA. Copydata started to develop process of orchestration layer in 2015, and we will now see some of the benefits. Of course, advantages are faster time to market, up to 50%. So if we are using these prefabricated modules with standardized interface, it's really easy to produce in much faster way. So in connection with this, of course, lower production costs, since there are no much changeovers, and this MTP system easily scales with the market demand. So you can produce large or small lots or batches very easily. Increased flexibility in this way, of course, up to 80% with of the increase, with reduced maintenance and storage costs, since everything is much more connected and flexible. Speaking about MTP, we are speaking about modularization. Easiest way to compare or to explain MTP is to compare it with a standard driver we use in Windows, let's say. So if you are using one printer with the Office PC, you need a driver to communicate with it. With the driver, we see services in that printer. So we are not seeing printer, we see services like scanning, printing, using fax. The same thing is with MTP. The idea is to see the services in the machine, not the machine as the whole unit, let's say. So we can easily connect Zenon Pol with MTP to different machines and use the services separately from machine, let's say. Of course, we can orchestrate it, all the services to work perfectly. And this is the main idea. So communication, visualization, and process functions are inside the MTP file. Starting from process development, modular process design, we can configure a modular line with all the MTP files and make a connectivity, make the most benefits out of it, and produce orchestration poll to improve, of course, efficiency. And when needed, we can easily and flexibly rearrange all these MTP files and reconnect them in the way that the market demand or we need to change according to the production needs. So let's speak about layers and communication with MTP with machines. In the lower layer, so OT network, we have machines. Different kind of machines, different processes. If they're MTP ready, if they have MTP files, we can easily connect them with Zenon, with Service Engine, and use all these services in PL layer. You will see the what all abbreviations mean in the last slide. I put everything in one slide. So next step is connecting all these processes, services, let's say, in machines to Zenon Service Engine, and use all functionalities of Zenon, like historian, audit trail, recipe manager, and process recorder, and everything else. And we can make a poll supervisory station also with Zenon. When we go to IT part, we can connect this very easily with different systems like ERP system, SAP, cloud services. Through OPC UA, we can connect also to different other different productions and systems and different SQL servers for storing the informations. And of course, with Zenon Service Grid, which is also pretty much new thing, you can connect through REST interfaces to different applications or services like Grafana for really nice and comprehensive visualization of all processes, or different programming languages and everything else. Continue with that data storages, with Web Engine for remote access, with Report Engine for reporting, for comprehensive reporting platform, and of course Identity Service to make this system as much safe as possible. Of course, there is also Docker option, which is included in Zenon Service Grid. Speaking about Zenon MTP suite, so starting from MTP editor, we can edit or create MTP files. So if we have those MTP files, we can easily edit them. If we don't have them, we can create MTP files with Zenon. Validation of MTP files. These are validation is based on Namur standard. You can read more. We don't have so much time to read it now. Manage PI instances. You can configure your equipment. As I mentioned already, you can manage, you can configure these instances really easily. Process orchestration layer, connect package units, so you can use all Zenon functionalities inside this process orchestration and connect units. PS software suite, visualize and control of skids. It's really easy for you who know Zenon already, you know this topic. And MTP gateway, you can easily integrate existing equipment into one system. Tasks to connect from MTP to orchestration. We can connect to SQL database. We can create or edit MTP files with MTP editor. We can import and manage MTP files and smart objects. If you know smart objects, you can rearrange a lot of different functionalities inside objects, and also the same thing is with MTP files. We can create and manage instances for PIA and orchestrate PIAs and automatically generate process screens with it. Yeah, that's how easy this is. And what's the newest option that Copydata provided is to validate MTP files. It doesn't matter if it is created with Zenon or it's third-party MTP files, since in last period, producers of machines started to provide MTP files with the machine, so we can really just use those files to orchestrate processes inside Zenon. Online validation is, of course, according to these standards, as I mentioned, and you can get free of charge validation report in HTML format via email. I can share with you the website if needed for this online. As I mentioned, a lot of abbreviations, probably a lot of new things for all of you. So I put in this slide all abbreviations. You can find what every single of them means. Okay, now I will continue with some of global references of Copydata, just to make you familiar with what Copydata already did in some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies around the world. Starting from Harald-Helfinger, since 2004, machines in Harald-Helfinger are equipped with Zenon. So they're using this setting parameters instead of programming, which is the main functionality in Zenon and saves a lot of time. So they're using this innovative and advanced technology in their machines through Zenon. Romaco, so a new visualization solution for thermoforming and heat scaling machines. They are using uniform recipe management, standardized audit trails. Of course, everything is according to FDA standard, which is needed in pharmaceutical industry, and also connection to superordinate system like SAP. Franzil, recipe group management is used, really complex recipes, seamless data recording across the entire production plant. And of course, the operations are very intuitive. Scan, they also use Zenon for connection to MES system or ERP systems. User administration with Microsoft Active Directory is used. Extended trend, of course, for history and that data, display, reporting, and native multi-touch option is also there. Breveticea, machine producer. So this is inspection and leak detection machine using all mentioned functionalities from recipe management, audit trail, reporting, OPC connection, and of course, HMI display. AstraZeneca, they use Zenon for connecting all existing Harald-Helfinger machines in the line. So they are reading real-time online data, all alarms and events, and the communication is done through OPC server and communication interface. Pfizer, they are using Zenon machines like Bausch-Ströber, Scan, Harald-Helfinger, and they are making, as you already know, production of injectables and aseptic production. Sandoz, this is one interesting reference, a little bit different. They are using Zenon for substation and energy systems. I put this here to show that Zenon can be used wider in the production. So you can connect machines, you can connect all data from the production, and also different systems, starting from building automation, energy management, substations, and everything else. So briefly about global references, this is it. And now I'm really looking forward to our local reference. Okay, we got to the Q&A session. Let's see if there are any questions in Q&A. Yeah, I mentioned the question about MTP. Regarding this MTP validation, that copy data provided online, it's according to the NMOR standard and all standard mentioned. And let's see.
Regarding MTP, also we had a question regarding FDA approval. I'm not sure this will be subjugated to FDA compliance, because this is a standardization of design process, so we can have more simple and effective integration. But for now, I don't have the information if it will be subject of FDA approval. And here, regarding also MTP, regarding documentation, for now, this is only online verification of MTP files, so this specified documentation is not included. Specific documentation.
Yep, okay, then thank you then, Sasha, also. Okay, so we got to the end of our today's webinar. Very much thanks to Sasha and of course Dan for joining us today. You can contact us with these emails in the slide anytime for any question and of course support and trainings. As I mentioned at the beginning, you will get the survey at the end of the webinar, so please fill in the survey, and we will try to answer the questions, and we appreciate much your marks. And of course, video of this webinar will be shared afterwards in a day or two. So thank you all for participating. I hope we shared a lot of interesting topics with you today, and just follow us and stay tuned for more webinars. Thank you.
Bye.